Why I'm 11 years old and I'm level 1 student at Hans Colonial Academy. Today we are going to do an interview, and today our guest is Kirk Hazlett. So let's get started. So hello Kirk, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And how are you? I hope you're well.
I'm also well. So
Good.
can you introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Kirk Hazlett, and I am at this point a retired public relations professional, public relations professor. I've worked in public relations for about 40 years and taught public relations for about 20 years. So, been both sides of it, had a good time, now trying to relax a little bit.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, Kirk, I'm I'm going to ask you questions.
Mhm.
So are you ready?
Yes,
Okay. So with you, my first question, my first question will be that yeah. So wait a second. So my first question with you will be that yeah, sorry. My first question is that sorry. Yeah, so my first question is that can you tell us about your journey into public relations?
sure. It was my journey. It was actually an accident. Um, I studied in college. My first degree was British literature, and I thought I would be a professor in the university teaching literature. But then I graduated college in 1968, and the Vietnam War was going, and most of us did not really want to go to war. So we joined the military. I joined the United States Air Force thinking that I could stay in the United States and do something and that would be okay. Well, I wound up in Vietnam for 2 years teaching English as a second language because I had a degree in literature, English. Um, but as in my Air Force life, I was doing more and more things outside of teaching. And I decided I wanted to get a second degree. And so I wanted to get a business degree because I was doing management stuff. Had to take an elective course. This is you choose anything you want, and you always look for the easiest course you can find. And I found this thing called Introduction to Public Relations. I read the description. I said, this is easy. I can do this one.
Sound
Registered for
good,
the
Captain
course.
Professor?
Sorry.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
I'll just go keep going real fast. And then I read the book before the class started, and I said, "Wow, this is public relations. This is what I've been doing for the last 4 years. I just didn't know that was what it was." So it was a happy accident as I got into public relations because I wanted to get a second degree and needed to take a course, and I, by accident, took public relations and found my career field.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey. Um, Now my next question with you is that what inspired you to become a professor at the University of Lampa? Sorry,
Okay.
of Tampa.
Yeah, you know, actually, I'm only part time at University of Tampa, and I did not even think about them. The University of Tampa called me and asked if I would be interested in teaching for them. I taught as a full time professor in Massachusetts. We moved from Massachusetts to Florida in 2017. but I had taught up in Massachusetts for about 20 years. And when I came down here, the people at the University of Tampa, I had met them in a meeting, and I guess they were interested and they invited me. And so I'm now part time. I teach public relations courses when they need someone to fill in to teach a course.
That's really good. Thank you so much for sharing about yourself and about your university. So now my next question with you is that who has your experience shaped the way you teach your students today?
That's a very, very good question. I teach real life, real time things. And some of my colleagues, teachers, will they teach just what's in the textbook. Yes, I teach the textbook. I use that as a base. You should know the basic things here, but I bring real life examples. I say, this happened. We're talking about this kind of public relations. Here's a situation. What would you do? So it really, I make it real life, real time. The examples every semester that I change a class, I change the examples because different things happen. But it helps the students understand that public relations is really about using your head. The textbook is a nice thing to have to refer, but the best thing is to know from experience, these are things that I need to think about, these are things I need to do.
Okay, thank you so much. And now my next question with you is that what does being in the PRSA College of Fellows mean to you?
Being in the College of Fellows is an honor for me. The College of Fellows, professionals are invited to become a part of the College of Fellows based on the success that they have had in their professional careers. So when I was invited, it told me that yes, other people who I respect a great deal think that I've been doing some very, very good stuff and should be a member of this organization. So it's an honor, it's a recognition of what I have done as a professional and as a professor. And I continue to stay very, very active to this day in encouraging other people to do good things.
Yeah, thank you so much for telling about your college. And is now my next question with you is that why is ethics such a vital part of public relations?
That is a very, very good question. Ethics ethics is about doing and saying and thinking the right thing. And public relations is really only successful when others trust you with what you are telling them. And so to practice ethical public relations tells the public that in your heart you believe you are doing the right thing for the right reasons and that it's good for them.
Yeah, I think that is good. Thank you so much for telling uh, about you. And now my next question with you is that what are the most common what are the most common ethical dilemmas PR professionals face today?
Well, a lot of times, and this has been true throughout the history of public relations, is I know as a public relations professional from experience what my organization needs to say and should say. And the difficulty there, the dilemma is sometimes the people above me, my boss, says, we don't want to say that. That doesn't sound good. And we, the public relations professionals, have to make them understand, make the boss understand that, yeah, this is good for us for these kinds of reasons. So it's there all the time. It's a are you really telling the truth kind of, because there are public relations professionals, there are business people everywhere who are not ethical, who will tell a lie just to get away from a situation. Sorry, that doesn't work. And what we have to do as public relations professionals is help our higher ups, our bosses, understand, yeah, this is important. We must do this.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. And now my next question is that can you share a solution? Can you share situation where ethical decision making played a key role?
Well, one organization that I worked for as the public relations director was we had a situation, a very public situation that was taking place, that if the public heard it heard the message the wrong way, they would leave us, period. And this would be very, very, very bad for a lot of people. And so we I can put together a plan with written statements so that I could show my president and members of my board of directors, here's what I'm suggesting we say and we do, and to explain to them why it was important. And very, very lucky for me that they said, yes, it sounds like you know what you're doing. Let's do this. And so the end result was, when the media contacted us to get our story, I was able to tell them the truth, and wound up that there was absolutely nothing negative that happened. People, I won't say they did not care, but it did not make them worried that we were doing something wrong. They understood why we did what we did, and understood that it wasn't going to happen again. But it took a lot of planning
Yeah.
ahead of time for me to go to them.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. So, yeah, thank you so much for sharing about you and about this all. So, now my next question with you is basically that how can young PR professionals build a strong foundation uh, of integrity?
You know, it has to start in your heart. You have to believe in yourself, believe that you are doing the right things for the right reasons, and stick with it. Don't let someone persuade you that, oh, if you go down here, it'll be okay. No, that's not. In your heart, if you believe it's the right thing to do, stay with it. Do not give in to someone who wants you to do what you feel is the wrong thing.
Thank you so much for sharing. And now my next question with you is that what advice would you give to students who want to pursue a career in PR?
Well, first thing is make sure that you want to do it. And I give an example, and I tell my students all the time. When I started college, I thought I wanted to be an engineer, building highways and bridges in my home state of Georgia. Then I went to college to study engineering, and the very first course I took, I realized I did not like engineering. So what I say, I tell students is talk to people, find out what they are expecting of you, and then ask yourself in your heart. And one last a quick story. I tell a lot of stories, but I took a group of my students, public relations students in Massachusetts, to a public relations society meeting. We had the presidents of three public relations agencies talking about what they expected from their workers. Finished the meeting, we were walking out. One of my students came over to me. She was one of my best students. And she said, I don't want to do this PR stuff anymore. I said, okay, what are you interested in? And she told me, she said, my major is communication, public relations. My minor is social work. I love
Yeah,
social work. I said, make it your major. 20
yeah.
years later, he is a senior member at a big hospital in Boston doing social work. So figure out what you love doing and go for
Thank you so much for sharing. And now my next question is that how can students best use their time at university to prepare for the, yeah, industry?
it. That's a good question there. And it's the same thing. Talk to people. Don't just sit in your dormitory and read books. If you think you're interested in public relations, go out into your local town community and talk to professionals who are in that business, who are doing public relations. Find out what they're doing, what they love about it, and decide, make a decision. What is it you want to do here? But you again, talk to people, talk to people, talk to people, so that as you get closer and closer to graduation, you've got a good idea that, yeah, this is what I really want. As I say, I thought it was engineering. I was so wrong. Then I thought it was English, literature. Not so. Public relations was for me. I wish I had known about this many, many years ago.
Okay, yeah, and thank you so much for telling about it. And so now my next question with you is that what qualities do you believe, what qualities do you believe are essential for success in public relation today?
Sort of a couple of things here. One is curiosity. Want to know. You don't just accept what someone says. Find out the why. I drive my bosses crazy because I always ask the question why. So it's the best. One of the things you need to be able to do that. Listening, being able and willing to listen to what people are saying, and understanding why they're saying it, not just what they're saying, but why. Now, obviously, you need to be able to write well, to communicate clearly, and that. But you've got to start with the listening. You've got to start with the understanding of what's happening. And yeah, that's not taught in a lot of courses, but it's something you need to know about.
Yeah, thank you so much. And now my next question with you is that how has the PR field evolved over the years?
It has changed tremendously. In the very, very, very beginning, all we had was pieces of paper that we could write things on. What are we doing today? We have computers, we have social media, we have the it has public relations in the early days when something happened. at your organization, sometimes you would have 2, 3 days to prepare what you were going to say. Today, no. You have, if you're lucky, 5 minutes. So the as the ability to communicate evolves, gets better and better and better, it means that we as public relations practitioners have to be thinking all the time and being aware. Don't just look at what's happening in your little town here. What's happening in the world that could affect you? Because the world has become very, very small. But it's exciting challenges. It's also challenges.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. And now, my next question with you will be that what are the biggest challenges facing PR professional in 2025?
Some of the biggest challenges, I would say, one of the biggest challenge is, thanks to media today, traditional media, television, radio, newspaper, and social media, is that the world is more aware of what is going on. And so people are paying closer attention to what you as an organization are doing. And that means, again, you have to be prepared. Don't always run around saying, oh my goodness, the world's falling apart and all that. But be ready. Understand that not everyone understands and appreciates what you and your organization are doing. And you have to be ready to help them understand. So it's a continuing challenge. It always has been. It's just getting more and more complicated because of the many ways in which we can communicate today.
Okay, thank you so much. So now my next question with you is that how important is personal branding for PR party practitioners?
Practitioners, it is very important because people, the public, the people out there, they need to they need to know who you are. And if they've never heard of you, they're not going to necessarily believe or trust what you're saying. So you have to make it a point to help the public understand who you are as a professional, who you are as a person, and hopefully build relationships that can help you move forward. So, very, very important.
Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing. So now my next question with you is how has your involvement involvement with PRSA influenced your professional journey?
PRSA, my involvement with PRSA has been, has opened doors for me literally everywhere. I have gotten progressively better and better professional jobs because of PRSA, my connections with people. I got into academia, into teaching public relations because of the same thing, because of my activity in PRSA. Professional organizations really open doors for you. So I recommend to anyone, whatever your interest area is, get involved with the professional organization that represents that area. Be seen, be heard, be active.
Okay, sorry, and thank you so much for sharing. So now my next question with you is that what role does PRSA play in shaping future leaders in communication?
I can one word: education. PRSA, the organization, offers all kinds of educational opportunities in person, online, whatever it might be here. It's a way for you as if you're interested to get make yourself smarter about what you want to be doing here. So yes, we're constantly offering educational opportunities to help our members and others be aware of what's happening and help them to do their job better.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing with us. And so now my next question with you is that why should students or young professionals join organization like PRSA?
That's a good question, and it's something that, once again, that I encourage students all the time. Networking, meeting other people, meeting people who are working in. One last quick example here is I took a group of students in Boston one time to a meeting of the Public Relations Society, the professional society. And one of the students had made a new business card, and it was kind of cute, and she was showing it to people. And I saw her going around the room handing out the card. And about after maybe 5 minutes, the president of a public relations firm came over to me and showed me the card. Said, "Do you know this young lady?" I said, "Yeah, yeah." She said, "This is the kind of person I'm looking for in my agency." She went back and offered that student a job that night based on that. But again, it's being involved in the organization, meeting people who think like you do or who are doing what you think you want to do, and opening doors.
Thank you so much for sharing. And now my next question with you is that what legacy do you hope to leave in the or PR
Well,
field
I
of
hope,
PR?
yeah, I hope that in the future people will say, well, Kirk actually loved what he was doing, and I hope that some of them will say, and he helped me, whoever it may be, find my own professional passion. So I just hope I make a difference.
Wow, thank you so much for telling. So now my next question with you is that how do you see the future of ethical communication evolving?
It's going to become, I believe, become not a challenge, but it's going to become a necessity. Because again, what we do today is seen, heard by millions of people. And if you are not acting ethically, if you are not doing the right thing, they're going to find out. And when they find out, it's not going to be good for you. So it's going to become more and more of a requirement for successful public relations is ethical communication.
Okay, thank you so much. So now my next question is that if you could give just one lesson or every PR student, what would it be?
The one thing that I say over and over and over again, never stop learning. Don't graduate and say, okay, I got my degree, I'm done here, I don't need to study. Never stop learning. There's always something new you can learn that will help you do your job better, live your life better, whatever it may be. The most successful people that I have known in public relations, I knew them, I met them in classes where we were studying things. And one person, Edward L. Bernays, he's called the father of public relations. Mr. Bernays, when he was almost 100 years old, was still going to PRSA meetings to hear from other people. He was the founder, the father of public relations, and he always wanted to learn from others. Never stop learning.
Okay, so can you give last advice to our viewers?
I would say, you know, think about what it is that you really, really, really are interested in. What is it gets you excited when you look forward to doing this? And once you figure that out, make it your goal and do everything you can, but be willing to listen to others because you may think you're going in the right direction, but someone else may say, you know, maybe you want to go this way. So be open to suggestions, but be willing to take chances, try new things.
Okay, so can you give the last feedback?
I'm sorry?
I say that can you give the last feedback? So, how did you love this interview? How was that interview?
I thought it was very, very good. Some very, very good questions, the kinds of questions I would ask my students. So nicely done, well done, made me think a little bit here, and hopefully has been helpful for your listeners and viewers. So fingers crossed that all goes well.
Thank you so much. So, bye everyone. So,